Welcome back, folks. In today's video, we'll talk about animals with no hearts. We know how important the heart is, and you will be shocked to hear that there are animals out there that don't need the heart to survive. Before we start naming those incredible animals, if you haven't subscribed yet on the channel, I appreciate you clicking that subscribe button to be notified of future videos. The heart is so important as it's the organ that pumps blood throughout the body. Its job is to keep blood flowing through the body in a healthy manner so that tissues and organs can receive oxygen and nutrients, and waste materials can be removed. So it's kind of amazing to learn that there are animals that can survive without it. Number 1 on our list are the jellyfish. Jellyfish are free-swimming marine animals that can be easily identified by their umbrella-shaped bells and trailing tentacles. They can be found all over the world, from surface waters to the deep sea. Jellyfish do not have a heart or a circulatory system. Instead, they have a simple, sac-like body structure with a gastrovascular cavity that functions as both their digestive and circulatory systems. Nutrients are absorbed and distributed throughout the body by diffusion, as there are no specialized organs for pumping and distributing nutrients or oxygen. Jellyfish have culinary and research value, with some Asian cultures considering them a delicacy and Australian researchers dubbing them a sustainable, protein-rich, perfect food despite being relatively low in food energy. They have also been used in research, where their green fluorescent protein has been adapted as a marker for genes inserted into other cells or organisms. However, they also pose a danger to humans as their stinging cells can cause mild to severe injury or even death, with thousands of swimmers getting stung every year. They may not have a heart, but they have been breaking hearts for centuries with their stinging tentacles. In addition, when conditions are favorable, jellyfish can form large swarms that can damage fishing gear by filling nets and clogging the cooling systems of power and desalination plants that rely on seawater. A group of jellyfish is called a smack or a smuck. Next on our list are the starfish. Starfish are marine animals that have different colors, shapes, and sizes. They are also known as sea stars, which live in almost all water environments but mostly in oceans. Most starfish have 5 arms, but some species have 6 or 7 arms, up to 10 to 15 arms. Starfish lack a circulatory system that propels blood throughout their bodies. Rather than utilizing a vascular system with blood, they possess a water vascular system that transports seawater throughout their structures. Consequently, they have open circulatory systems. This implies that seawater courses through their body cavity without the assistance of a heart. Instead of a heart, seawater facilitates the transportation of nutrients throughout their bodies. Their vascular system extends through each of their arms. As seawater flows through their arms, it delivers nourishment, propels movement, and enables them to capture prey. Those arms are equipped with hundreds of tiny feet at the end of each arm. By filling their feet with seawater, they can move quickly and efficiently. It may come as a surprise, but starfish possess eyes that are located on the ends of their arms, enabling them to detect different shades of light and navigate their surroundings, aiding in hunting for food and avoiding predators. One of the most remarkable abilities possessed by starfish is their capacity to regenerate their arms. This feature serves numerous purposes, as arms can be lost due to interactions with predators or voluntarily amputated to evade or conceal danger. Next are the sea sponge. Sponges are aquatic animals that have bodies full of pores and channels. The majority are marine, saltwater, species, but some are freshwater species. Sponges share some characteristics with other animals, such as being multicellular, heterotrophic, lacking cell walls, and producing sperm cells. However, they differ from most animals in that they do not have true tissues or organs, meaning they don't have a heart. Their bodies are designed to efficiently filter water through a central cavity, where nutrients are extracted and waste is expelled through a hole called the osculum. Adult sponges are aquatic animals that remain attached to underwater surfaces and do not move around, although they are motile during their larval stage. While some of the thousands of known sponge species feed on bacteria and other small organisms, others form endosymbiotic relationships with photosynthesizing microorganisms that produce more food and oxygen than they consume. Additionally, some sponge species that live in areas with limited food sources have evolved to become carnivorous, preying mainly on small crustaceans. Sea sponges are very simple animals, but did you know there's a very popular sponge on television? Let me give you some clues. Are you familiar with his laugh? You're right. SpongeBob SquarePants is actually a sea sponge, despite his appearance as a kitchen sponge. This has caused some confusion for years, but according to his animator and series creator, Steven Hillenburg, this was done on purpose for a good reason. Hillenburg says, "It's a lot funnier to see a kitchen sponge living his life in the sea than a sea sponge." Next are the sea cucumbers. Sea cucumbers are marine animals with leathery skin and elongated bodies containing a single, branched gonad. They are found on the sea floor worldwide. Because of its resemblance to the cucumber plant, it was called sea cucumber. They have a simple circulatory system consisting of a water vascular system and a hemal system. The water vascular system is responsible for circulating water through the body and aiding in movement, while the hemal system is responsible for circulating nutrients and oxygen. Instead of a centralized heart, the contractions of muscles in the body wall help to move the fluids around. There are around 1,717 species of sea cucumbers worldwide, with the largest number found in the Asia-Pacific region. Many of these species are harvested for human consumption, and some are even grown in aquaculture systems. They play a vital role in the marine ecosystem as they aid in nutrient recycling by breaking down detritus and other organic matter, which is then further decomposed by bacteria. Next are sea anemones. Sea anemones are a group of predatory marine invertebrates. They are named after the anemone, a terrestrial flowering plant, because of their strikingly colorful appearance. Sea anemones are related to corals, jellyfish, tube-dwelling anemones, and hydra. Unlike jellyfish, they lack a medusa stage in their life cycle. Sea anemones are found in both deep oceans and shallow coastal waters across the globe. While the greatest diversity is in the tropics, there are also many species adapted to relatively cold waters. Most species attach themselves to rocks, shells, or submerged timber, often hiding in cracks or under seaweed. However, some burrow into sand and mud, and a few float near the water's surface. Sea anemones rely on diffusion to transport oxygen and nutrients throughout their bodies since they do not have a heart or a circulatory system. Typically, a sea anemone is a single polyp that is anchored to a hard surface by its base. However, some species live in soft sediment, and a few float near the surface of the water. The polyp has a columnar trunk that is topped by an oral disc with a ring of tentacles and a central mouth. The tentacles are equipped with stinging cells called cnidocytes and can be retracted inside the body cavity or expanded to catch prey. Many species of sea anemones also benefit from a symbiotic relationship with single-celled dinoflagellates, zooxanthellae, or green algae called zoochlorella that live within their cells. Some species live in association with clownfish, hermit crabs, small fish, or other animals for their mutual benefit. Next are the corals. Coral is a marine invertebrate that belongs to the class Anthozoa in the phylum Cnidaria. These organisms typically form dense colonies comprised of numerous identical individual polyps. Some coral species, known as reef builders, are crucial to the formation of tropical ocean reefs as they secrete calcium carbonate to produce a hard skeleton. Polyps capture a range of small organisms as food, including microscopic zooplankton and small fish. The tentacles of the polyp immobilize or kill prey using nematocysts, stinging cells that release venom in response to contact with another organism. When a dormant nematocyst is triggered by prey, an operculum flap opens and the stinging apparatus discharges the barb into the prey. Venom is then injected into the prey through the hollow filament, and the tentacles guide the prey to the stomach for digestion. After digestion is complete, the stomach reopens to allow for the elimination of waste products and the beginning of the next hunting cycle. Coral's gastrovascular system replaces a circulatory system, rendering a heart unnecessary. The classification of corals has been debated for thousands of years, as they share characteristics with both plants and animals. Currently, coral is classified as an animal species within the subclasses Hexacoralia and Octocoralia of the class Anthozoa, in the phylum Cnidaria. Last on the list are the flatworms. Flatworms, also known as platyhelminths, are a phylum of soft-bodied, unsegmented, and relatively simple bilaterian invertebrates. They are acoelomates, meaning they lack a body cavity and do not have specialized circulatory and respiratory organs. Due to their flattened shape, they are able to obtain oxygen and nutrients by diffusion. Their digestive cavity has only one opening for both the intake of nutrients and the removal of waste. Some species of flatworms may have a rudimentary network of vessels that helps to distribute nutrients and gases. but they do not have a true heart like more complex organisms. Flatworms are classified into 3 categories: Turbellaria, Trematoda, and Cestoda. Turbellaria or planaria are free-living aquatic organisms. This group comprises about 4,500 species, ranging from 1 mm to large freshwater forms measuring over 500 mm in length, or terrestrial species like Bipalium coens, which can reach up to 600 mm. The larger forms have a flat, ribbon-like, or leaf-like shape, as they lack respiratory and circulatory systems and rely on diffusion for the internal transport of metabolites. However, the smaller forms are round in cross-section. Most Turbellaria are predators and live in aquatic or moist terrestrial environments. They mostly reproduce sexually and are simultaneous hermaphrodites, with few exceptions. On the other hand, Trematoda, also known as flukes, are a class of flatworms that are obligate internal parasites and have a complex life cycle requiring at least 2 hosts. A snail typically serves as the intermediate host where asexual reproduction occurs, while a vertebrate is the definitive host where the flukes sexually reproduce. Trematode infections can cause disease in all 5 traditional vertebrate classes, including mammals, birds, amphibians, reptiles, and fish. Finally, Cestoda, or tapeworms, are parasites that live inside numerous vertebrates. They are characterized by their long, segmented bodies, which can range in length from a few millimeters to several meters, depending on the species. Tapeworms are parasites that live in the digestive tracts of vertebrates, including humans. They attach themselves to the intestinal wall using specialized structures called scolexes and absorb nutrients through their skin. Tapeworms do not have a digestive system and rely on their host's digestive system to break down food for them to absorb. Cestodes can cause a range of health problems in humans and animals, depending on the species and location in the body. In humans, some tapeworms can cause abdominal pain, nausea, and weight loss, while others can cause more serious conditions such as neurocysticercosis, which affects the brain and can cause seizures and other neurological symptoms. There you have it, folks. The animals that have no heart. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. See you in the next video.